Alright, well, if you haven't checked it out yet, we had the final Firestorm trailer to drop today. This, of course, being for the gameplay version of it instead of the cinematic trailer that we saw last week. So we got a pretty good perspective today of how Firestorm is going to look when you're playing, which we got to step back here for a moment and really appreciate the environment we're playing in. This trailer had some pretty epic shots, in my opinion, of just the overall environment, and to be honest with you, it looks pretty great. Has me pretty excited, so I just want to start off this video and really just appreciate what we're looking at here. I think it's really going to look really stunning when we're actually out there playing this. Now, I do kind of want to start off this video talking about really the thing I didn't like about this trailer, and it's right at the beginning where you see the squad jump in, and you look over to the bottom left, and it says 60 alive. Now, imagine that's not including the 4 players in the squad, so that would confirm the 64 player count. Now, we knew that was coming. DICE did mention this before, way back at the start when the new Firestorm game mode was being advertised months ago. They did let us know there was going to be a 64 player count. I was kind of leaving a little bit of hope that they may try to kind of push that and scale that up. But I don't know, regardless of whatever reasons they have to justify this, I would much prefer an 80 player count, especially for the 4-man squad playlist. It only leaves you 16, and yeah, I know 4 more squads doesn't seem like that much more to add on the playing field, but I still want to see it pushed up and scaled up more. I don't want to see them just stay at 64 players. I imagine, of course, this has something to do with performance, but we'll have to wait and see what the developers say about this and if they have plans later to scale it up. But I would at least like to see them try, especially for the squad playlist. You maybe might be able to get away with it for the single mode and maybe the duos, but I don't know about squads. So I would like to see it scaled up, regardless of whatever reasons there are. I understand if there's performance reasons that they have to hold it back, but if it's just maybe because it isn't for performance reasons, maybe it's for other reasons, and if that's the case, I don't know. I would like to see it scaled up regardless. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. But moving on here, there's a really weird part right at the start where you see the squad jumping down, and it appears like it's from the same game as they're making their way towards the dam, and it cuts from one shot over where they're jumping towards the dam, and then next thing you know, you see the last player of the squad landing. But if you look closely, there is a 60 player count that we had just saw, but right when it gets to that second shot, you see now 29 alive. It's still from the same squad's perspective, but the squad names are in different order, so I'm not quite sure if it's from a different game or not, which would make you wonder if there's other areas you could be parachuting in other than the start. One obvious reason, of course, they could have been bailing out from the helicopter. But who knows, really? Maybe there's other places on the map you could maybe possibly base jump in. That's just one idea out of many, I'm sure, that you could think of. But those little things, in my opinion, go a very long way. To have little cool elements like that, just like base jumping on the map, using your parachute to maybe jump across the map in a different way. You see those in all the other battle royales that are out there. They have different ways that you can get up very high onto the map and then parachute back in. So maybe there's another way like this in our new Firestorm Battle Royale mode. So we'll have to keep a lookout for something like that. We get told there are 17 vehicles available to be used on the map. Everything from transport vehicles, tanks, helicopters, and of course tractors. But if you look closely, you can see when the player jumps onto the tractor, there's only half of fuel available in it. You see this reaffirmed again in the tank when the players are jumping into the tank that's down below in the bunker. So that gives you just an idea how much fuel is going to play a big part in all this. And it's another dynamic to consider, and a good one in my opinion, because this was really going to tether in the dominance in the vehicles, in my opinion, if it wasn't for them having to add another element here. So again, it's another reason why I'm really not too concerned when it comes to tanks in squad gameplay, at least. We'll talk a little bit more about single modes here in a second. But before that, how about the V1 rocket? We get a quick clip of that in the trailer, and it doesn't appear to have lost any of its power we've already been experiencing. So this is going to be really interesting to play this out. We're told we can pick this up where the barrage balloons drop, so I guess those are the care packages in Firestorm. V1 rockets are not the only thing we can get from these barrage drops, but we can also get supply drops that will resupply ammo, artillery strikes, and even tanks, so that will all be pretty interesting. Honestly though, the V1 rocket has me more concerned than tanks, because I mean, for obvious reasons right here, but in my opinion it's still freaking cool, so I really do hope they can somehow make this work out. But yeah, that's kind of has me more watching out to see how that works, because I mean, really, when you think about it, man, if I have a V1 rocket at the last circle and you got like a group of players hiding in the building, I mean, how hard is it going to be for me to drop the V1 rocket right onto them? So we'll have to see, you know, how that's going to work. I mean, obviously, just like in the base version of Battlefield, you can hear it coming in and you should be able to get out of whatever position you're in. But, you know, we'll have to wait and see how it actually turns out. However, finally, I want to touch base on the single player mode and something I figured DICE was going to do, which is design the whole Battle Royale experience around squad gameplay. At least that's the impression I'm getting from the trailer, where we see the narrator mention that if you work as a team, you can complete the different objectives faster. So it feels very much like this is designed really for squad gameplay, which is not surprising. DICE does need a way to justify one of their main pillars, squad gameplay, into Firestorm, so ideally I'm sure they are building around it. It's just, what is it going to play like for solo modes? I know there's going to be a lot of players, including myself, who are going to grind out a lot of solos, and things that normally might not be a big deal in squads may be a bigger deal in the other playlists. It all plays differently, so I hope some of that is considered. Everything from how much loot is on the ground to how these objectives interact, and things like tanks. I see tanks being much more of a complicated issue in single mode than I do in squads, but we'll have to wait and find out. We could already be having a little bit of an answer already with the narrator saying that it is much easier with a squad to complete these objectives, so in single mode it in theory would be much more difficult to complete these objectives and unlock these behemoths like tanks on the playing field. So again, we'll have to wait and find out. Regardless though, I am still very hyped to try this out. Feel free to let me know what you guys think about the gameplay trailer in the comments below. But again, I always appreciate you guys being here. I am Livin'. I'll catch you guys again later.